Coming up on Dallas Mavericks today, we got the latest rumors on Dorian Finney-Smith. Plus, could the Mavs and Wizards make a deal? He's Jeffrey Cooperstein. I'm Harrison Graham. We are 6 days away from the NBA trade deadline. And speaking of which, 13 trades between now and the deadline. What do you guys think? More or less? Is this based on last year?
There were 12 last year, so one more. Will there be 13? Will there be more than last year? Let us know down in the comment section. I kind of think there's going to be a sneaky amount of small trades made.
So, based on last year, does that count the ones that happened like a month before, or is that...
That counts like...
Within the week of the deadline?
Within the week.
So starting now, basically.
Yes, the Siakam, the OG trade does not count. Starting now, 13 trades.
I'm going to say less.
You think less?
Because I just feel like a couple of the big ones have already happened. I still think it'll be 10 or 11, but I'll take less. Let me know what you guys think. We'll dive into this show here. New York Post Coop saying that the Nets rejected an offer of 2 first-round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith. Now, who knows what type of picks were they? Were they heavily protected? Was it, one of those situations? But that probably does not bode well for the Dallas Mavericks, as they only have 1 first-round pick they can trade to begin with.
Yeah, no question. I think if that's the case for the Mavericks, they are out because they only have that 1 first-round pick. If Brooklyn wants 2+, maybe even 3 first-round picks to go get him, that's pretty crazy. And he's not worth that, frankly. So the Mavericks shouldn't, try to push an offer just because they feel like they need to make a deal.
Yeah, there are scenarios where I'd give up my first-round pick for Dodo, but I just don't quite frankly, I'm shocked that they would turn down 2 firsts for him. Not because he's not good, but it's like they're just not in a good way. So why not just load up on assets, trade him? I'd even consider trading Mikal Bridges if I was Brooklyn. Just complete a full teardown here. And look, there's no doubt that Dodo would be a great fit on the Mavericks. He's a good 3-and-D player. We know that, but they just don't have the ammunition to get him if that's what his market's going to be. At least what Brooklyn's setting it as. So. We'll see if something changes. Sometimes last minute these things can shift, but as of now, I don't think the Mavericks should be in play here.
Yeah, and the Mavs only have that first 1 first-round pick to trade, like you said. Now they can also offer additional pick swaps and whatnot, which kind of work like trading a first-round pick, but not really, especially when you're the Mavs and you're going to be in the late 20s. So it doesn't really work. But I don't think he's worth 2 first-round picks right now, to be honest.
I think he's worth 1. 1 first and a decent player or a young piece or something like that.
That's kind of where I'm at, too. I just don't think that he is worth the Mavericks, mortgaging the rest of their future to get Dorian back. I love Dorian. If they re-sign Jalen Brunson, Dorian is still on this team. So at the end of the day, that's kind of the Mavs' own doing. But I'm not trading 2 first-round picks to get him back.
What do you guys think? Is he worth 2 firsts? Why for yes and for no? I would say pretty clearly that he is not worth 2 first-round picks, in my opinion. All right, let's shift to this here. Are the Mavericks going to be making a trade with the Washington Wizards? There has been registered interest, according to a report, in 3 of the Wizards players from Dallas' standpoint. We'll tell you who those guys are in just a moment. But, guys, this is the time. The clock is ticking to get signed up with Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use code CLNS to get signed up today and get that $100 deposit match with the code CLNS. It's daily fantasy made easy. You can play Prize Picks on the daily with the NBA, college hoops, NHL, and Super Bowl Sunday's coming up. Here's a 3-player entry we have. Christian McCaffrey. We're going to go more on his rushing yards, more on Travis Kelce receiving. Same with George Kittle. We like scoring. We like yards. We're going to go 10 to win 50 here on this 3-player entry. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get that $100 deposit match. And listen, there's nothing like watching Super Bowl Sunday with some money at stake. Link is in the comments in the description. Get signed up with Prize Picks right now. All right, Marc Stein, who has obviously always been well tied to the Mavericks organization. He says, sources say Dallas has indeed registered consistent trade interest in Kyle Kuzma, in addition to past trade runs of Wizards center Daniel Gafford and versatile forward Deni Avdija, who, like Green, signed a rookie-scale contract extension, $55 million over 4 years, back in October. Talking about Josh Green there, obviously. Listen, Coop, I think all 3 of these players are pretty intriguing.
For sure.
We've talked about Kuzma and Gafford a lot. Avdija would be an interesting fit as well.
Yeah, Deni Avdija is more or less a cheaper Kyle Kuzma. They kind of accomplish the same role. Avdija is about 6'9", can play make a little bit as well. Pretty efficient from the field. So if the Mavericks aren't willing to part with their premier assets, so to speak, but they still want to make an upgrade at that position, I think Avdija could be a guy that they look at. He's had a pretty solid season this year, averaging almost 12.5 points.
Yeah, shooting the ball well from three this year, which I like. I remember when he was coming out, he was getting like poor man's Luka comps,
Yes.
but I don't think that's really turned out to be his game. I mean, obviously those were unrealistic expectations, but he does have some playmaking ability from that forward position, which you like. We've talked about how Kyle Kuzma has that as well. Definitely wouldn't be a bad fallback option if Kuzma's out of their price range. Maybe instead of Kuzma, an Avdija-Gafford combo could be on the table for the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, Gafford's a guy I really liked throughout this whole trade cycle. I really think he could help this team, whether even as a starting center if Derek Lively's out, which it kind of sounds like he's going to be for at least the next game or so. He's a guy that can do it all as a center. He's a 10-8 guy, 2 blocks a game, very efficient from the field as well. I like Gafford, and he's also pretty affordable contract-wise. I bet Washington asked a lot for him, though, because there's a lot of demand for his type of player. But if the Mavs ended up with Avdija and Gafford in the same trade, I wouldn't hate that at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 legitimate rotation pieces. What I like about Gafford is he can start, he can come off the bench. He knows exactly who he is as a player. He's not going to, go jack up mid-range and, 3-point shots just for the hell of it. He knows his game, and I love the rim protection. Other than Lively, which he's not even, a 2+ block per guy game at this point in his career. He would give you some of that rim protection that you're lacking and that you have lacked for years. I think there's opportunity here, Coop. I think the Wizards are trying to punt here, trying to get some assets back to start that rebuild process. Because quite frankly, they didn't get a ton by moving Bradley Beal and some of those other pieces this offseason.
Yeah, they moved Porzingis on as well to Boston. They really didn't get as big of a haul as you would think they would have. Tyus Jones is the guy that wasn't even mentioned there, who's probably going to be on the market as well. I saw a report that they may take multiple second-round picks for Tyus Jones. If that's the case, I think the Mavs should be in on him too, considering what's going on with the point guard situation right now. I think there's a deal to be had with the Wizards, and I think that the Mavs could explore multiple opportunities with them.
So what do you guys think? Should the Mavs and Wiz make a deal, type D for deal or ND for no deal? I'd try to because, again, I think all those players we mentioned help this team, especially if you're not having to give up notable rotation pieces to get them. So get your thoughts in the comment section below. Coop and I will be back soon. Go Mavs.
Go Mavs.